Hello, my name is Sarah Margolnik and I have type 1 diabetes. This video is going to be really short because I'm really busy and you have a short attention span. Ha! My friends told me I should teach a class on how to roast people. So today we're going to talk about my experience with insulin injections versus insulin pumps. So today we're going to talk about the different injections versus insulin pump. So clearly here, let's start with the insulin pump first. Clearly here you see that I have an insulin pump. This is the Tandem T-Slim X2 Control IQ. It's a mouthful, but anyway. So that's my insulin pump, and I've had it for almost as long as I've had type 1 diabetes. Now, when I first got diagnosed, there's that period in between where I had to wait to actually be able to use an insulin pump, where it was me to use injections before getting the insulin pump. So and then there are people that prefer to use injections versus the insulin pump. You see this more with the older generation of type 1 diabetics, or maybe that's your preference possibly or something, but that's what they're used to, so they probably use, because an insulin pump is a relatively of all of it. So newer technology, as technology we see is always like advancing with like diabetes care and stuff. So that's the insulin pump. I personally like the insulin pump because I can just put in for the amount of carbs that I'm going to be consuming in my insulin pump, or correcting for my blood sugars, whatever, and it's continuously having a device giving you increments of insulin throughout the day without you having to think about it, due to the settings that you have in your insulin pump. So personally, as far as comfort goes and the rest of it, I think the insulin pump is more comfortable, it's more convenient in my opinion. But when I would use the injections, I remember it's important to learn how to use the injections in the case that your insulin pump were to fail for whatever reason, having the injections as a backup. So one time when my insulin pump did fail, and this was like many years ago, I had to use the injections, and I didn't like it because I was used to my insulin pump. So I would get like bruising like on my leg, or like whatever you commonly insert it, or I would insert it, was like my leg or my arm or something, and I would get like these bruises in my leg, and I didn't like it. I think I was like 10 or something when it failed that one time. But like anyway, so when I first used the injections, didn't think much of it. Yeah, how much insulin to give yourself based on the agreed amount with your provider, and yeah, so though that is the shots versus the injections. Now again, like I mentioned, in the case that my pump were ever to fail for whatever reason, I do have injections, and I'll show you what those look like. I have a whole box of syringes right here, just in case. So each come in like these little packets or something for self-insulin accordingly. For me, for example, like if your insulin pump were to fail, you're supposed to give yourself insulin according to your agreed upon rates settings in your insulin pump, and whatever that, if you don't know, ask your endocrinologist what yours are individually. So those are what the syringes look like, and then obviously the same process like goes like cleaning it. Like you're supposed to use an alcohol swab. I'm not even from Long Island. You're supposed to use an alcohol swab. It's just my family's from there. I know how to switch it on and off, like between certain words. Basically, for when you're doing the injection, you wipe the area with an alcohol swab, and let's say you're putting on your leg, you want to wipe your leg before you basically like going to sterilize the area. When you administer insulin to you, you're supposed to like sterilize the vial too, basically. So, and then there's this whole debate between people whether or not you refrigerate your insulin or not. I don't even want to touch that. I refrigerate it, but maybe that's not right. I don't know, but anyway, so who knows? So that's what my syringes look like. And then I also have like the pens too that already have the insulin in them. So I have Levemir and Novolog. And the Levemir, okay, so this is another thing. Levemir doesn't exist anymore, apparently. And Levemir is more long acting, so that would be, okay, so I don't even use Levemir to begin with because I have an insulin pump. I use like Novolog. Levemir is only in like backup, like situations, and it's long acting, whereas Novolog is like normal like acting or something. And I don't know if I was talking about this, but I recently got a new insulin. I think it's called Fiasp or whatever. I have to check the name. Where it's even faster than Novolog, where the absorption period is 5 minutes. And then another time too, I'll talk about glucagon kits. So glucagon kits are not insulin, obviously. Glucagon kits are only used in the case of emergency where, God forbid, this has never happened to me, but if you were to ever go unconscious due to low blood sugar, they would inject you with a glucagon. Once you're administered a glucagon kit, like obviously you don't want to administer this unless you really need to in a very like dire like situation, like emergency. This is not how you treat regular lows. Go grab a juice box instead. Like I said, if you are unconscious, this is why they would use a glucagon kit for low blood sugar. Because what ends up happening is, like, obviously you have to use a glucagon kit, you have to use what? Your blood sugar ends up going really high after because it takes so much to like bring your blood sugar like up. So it almost creates like the opposite like effect after. So hold on, let me go grab my other injection so you can see. I created this because I'm writing a CV right now and I was kind of like putting that off. So, oh thank God, the lighting is so much better. That was like awful before. First of all, these are my Cookie Monster slippers. That just got passed by my dog on the stairs.
You almost tripped me.
Ooh. Okay, clear that up. Oh my God, why is this so bad? So before I show you the insulin injections, I wanted to talk about the different types of insulin pumps. So I mentioned that I have the T-Slim X2. Before that, I've had the Medtronic 670G and the Animus pump back when it existed. So basically, there are a lot of different types of insulin pumps. If you're thinking about getting an insulin pump, just kind of like do your research. There's also like the Omnipod out there, but anyway, so these are the different types of flex pens that I have. This is the Levemir. Oh my God. This is the Levemir flex pen. I don't even know how to like verbalize what I was laughing at. I mean, it was pretty funny, but I don't know how to put like words to it like right now. So anyway, it's almost like I'm showing it off, but this is the Levemir flex pen. As you could tell, these flex pens, they kind of look like this. So you see that there's like a little like screw and then like whatever. So basically, according to your rates, like you go and use the pen. But these are what the flex pens look like. Again, this is for Levemir. As you could see too, I always add the expiration dates on here. Or well, like my mom actually like helped me with that one. But so always write the expiration dates on here so I know when my insulin is going to expire, and then I use the insulin that is going to expire first before it's expired, so that way obviously it doesn't like go bad. This is the Novolog flex pen. Again, I use Novolog, so I would be using this for the most part. So show you what it looks like. Basically it looks the same. This is the Novolog Flex Pen. And yeah, those are on the injections versus insulin pumps. I wanted to let you know too, the other day I saw a type 1 diabetic out in the wild, and I noticed her Dexcom G6, and I was like, hey, you have type 1 diabetes. And then we started talking and we hugged. So anyway, thank you for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share the word. I just kind of like the insulin pump too, because it gives me more freedom in my day-to-day life. That sounds like an advertisement, but it gives me, honestly, like, more freedom in my day-to-day life. I was always like I mentioned, I've had the insulin pump for a very long time. I was always very active as a kid, so it was just easier to kind of manage my blood sugars and give myself insulin accordingly, because with your injections too, there's only like a certain time of day that you could do it. Whereas with your insulin and kind of bolus whenever. So personally for me, I like the insulin pump because it allows for more freedom. God, I have an ear infection right now. I used to get these double ear infections though, and that would really stink, because I would just like be sitting there eating quiet, because like at that point you don't even want to talk, both your ears are clogged. Like swimmer's ear, what I used to get or something. But some daily inspiration: the only thing stopping you from hold on, let me rephrase. The only thing stopping you from who you want to be is what you think of yourself. What you believe to yourself to be true is true. What you don't believe of yourself to not be true is also true. The power of the mind. Some daily inspiration.